Will she or won't she? Speculation is growing over a possible visit to Taiwan by top American official Nancy Pelosi. We take a look at a Taiwanese musician who has made an interactive map of Chinese military bases. Police release 4 teens suspected of vandalizing a popular outdoor art space. And Taiwan marks Indigenous Peoples Day.
I'm Yin Khvat for TaiwanPlus, here in Pingdong County in southern Taiwan, where one of the country's largest indigenous groups is convening its first National Assembly.
A warm welcome to Taiwan Plus News. I'm Yin Khvat. US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has landed in Singapore, the first stop of her Asia tour. Her trip has already drawn lots of attention, with speculation mounting over whether she will visit Taiwan. Beijing earlier warned that a stop in Taipei would have a negative impact on US-China relations. Louise Watt reports.
Will she or won't she? Speculation is growing over a possible visit to Taiwan by US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The third in line to the US presidency is on an Asia tour. While Pelosi had never confirmed a Taipei stop was on the cards, President Joe Biden had said that the military thought it was not a good idea right now. But Taiwan's government says they're prepared either way.
我们对于外国的贵宾朋友来我国访问，都表示热烈的欢迎。对于外宾的来访，我们都会做最妥善的安排，而相关的时间、期程等等，也当然都尊重访宾的规划。
Pelosi announced Sunday that she's leading a congressional delegation to the Indo-Pacific to reaffirm America's unshakable commitment to its allies and friends. She named 4 US allies: Singapore, Malaysia, South Korea and Japan. There was no mention of Taiwan, but Wang Dingyu from the ruling party and a member of the Foreign Affairs and National Defense Committee says a visit is possible.
如果裴洛西的访问行程没有台湾的话，他的行程不用保密到这个程度。从这样来看，拜访台湾的机会还是相当高的。
Such trips are strongly opposed by Beijing, which claims Taiwan as part of its territory. It sees visits by foreign officials as giving Taiwan international legitimacy. In a phone call on Thursday, Chinese President Xi Jinping warned his American counterpart Joe Biden not to play with fire on the Taiwan issue.
In recent years, there have been a series of visits from former and serving American officials to demonstrate support for Taiwan. But the last time an official of Pelosi's level came was in 1997.
Lawmakers from Taiwan's main opposition party have sounded alarm.
裴洛西来台湾访问的几率越来越高，如果政府把它很高调的处理的话，可能势必让台海的紧张局势拉高。
For now, China has warned of unspecified consequences if Pelosi lands in Taiwan. But it would be certain to increase tensions between Beijing and Washington, this time with Taiwan firmly in the middle. Chris Ma and Louise Watt for Taiwan Plus.
With China continuing its aggressive rhetoric over a potential Pelosi visit, one Taiwanese college graduate has made it his mission to track the potential military threat across the strait. Joseph Wen has created an interactive map that includes detailed information of China's military bases. Bing Wang reports.
21-year-old Joseph Wen just graduated from Soochow University in Taipei with a degree in music.
离金门很近的一个青屿上面就有中国海军陆战队的一个基地。
But he's gained recognition for something other than music. His interactive map detailing China's military bases has over 1 million views, mostly from Taiwan. Taiwan lives with the constant threat of a Chinese invasion. Beijing sees Taiwan as part of its own territory.
我现在会把它视为一个公益性质的一份地图啦，就是我觉得民众也是有知道的权利啦，所以它也算是提供给民众一个好用的工具。
Wen has been working on this map for over 2 years. only posting it online last June. He scours military news, academic papers, and even from Chinese social media, then cross-references them with other sources for accuracy. There are different symbols for each type of military base: a star to represent the Army, a stripe for the Air Force, and a flag for the Navy. Clicking on each base gives detailed descriptions and photos. They even include Chinese bases in Djibouti and Cambodia. While his first love is composing, Wen believes there is a connection between music and the military.
音乐和国防，我觉得也不是没有关联。这个国防它就是政治的延伸嘛，但那政治和音乐，我讲政治和艺术好了，艺术的在每个时代的发展，它一定是受到那个时代的政治大环境的影响。
With the political and military pressure between China and Taiwan at its highest in decades, Wen knows his map is more crucial than ever.
台湾民众对于两岸军事冲突的准备啊，还有危机意识，我相信也会有提高。就是我们并不知道危机会不会到来，但是中文有一句话就是说，物是敌之不来，事无有以待之。
Wen does not have military ambitions and will continue pursuing music, hoping to get a master's degree in 2 years. But he will continue to compile information and build his map out of a sense of patriotic duty. James Rayner and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
August 1st marks Indigenous Peoples Day in Taiwan. On this day in 2016, President Tsai Ing-wen issued an official apology for Taiwan's past injustices towards Indigenous peoples. She also promised to promote the rights of Indigenous groups and raise awareness of their cultural history. However, some Indigenous activists say her administration has not done enough. This year, Tsai reiterated her promise to advance Indigenous rights.
我要期许我们国家人权委员会能够秉持独立机关的立场，接轨国际人权标准，持续地提出评估意见和调查报告，来促进台湾社会对原住民族权利的理解。
Tsai's statement comes on the anniversary of Indigenous rights being enshrined in Taiwan's constitution in 1994. According to Taiwan's Interior Ministry, there are 16 recognized Indigenous groups in the country, with more trying to gain official recognition. There are just under 600,000 Indigenous people in Taiwan, making up 2.5% of the total population. Research suggests Indigenous peoples have lived on the island for over 6,500 years. The Paiwan people, Taiwan's second largest Indigenous group, are establishing their own national assembly. Our reporter Rick Lowett is in Pingdong County, southern Taiwan, with this report.
Taiwan marked its first Indigenous Peoples Day on August 1st, 2016, and now, 6 years later, one of the country's largest Indigenous groups is convening its first National Assembly. There are about 100,000 Paiwan people, and the majority of them are here in the southern parts of the country. And, like most of the nation's 600,000 Indigenous population, for decades they faced discrimination and ill treatment. This assembly will act as a mini legislature, making decisions on issues of land, law and economy, and working to protect traditional culture and rights. Its representatives will be elected and sworn in. The new parliament is set to be the largest of its kind in Taiwan, and only possible after a 2018 law gave Indigenous people more control over their own affairs. People from across Taiwan are gathering in this rural village in the southwest of the country. They hope this new body can bring justice after decades of repression and push for greater autonomy of their lands and people. Rick Lowett in Nansha Village, Pingdong County, for TaiwanPlus.
Police in the central city of Taichung have released more than a dozen people suspected of defacing an outdoor art space. As John Van Trieste reports, the case has created a rift between the site's creator and the people whose job it was to preserve his work.
It took a decade to create Taichung's Rainbow Village, but just one evening to ruin it. Footage shows a team painting over the art space's murals, covering pieces that attract 2 million visitors a year. These weren't vandals. They work for the company charged with protecting the artwork. The artist behind the project says he's devastated.
很难过，晚上都没有睡觉，你看。
98-year-old Huang Yongfu was a soldier before retiring to a veterans village. The village was to be torn down, so in 2008, with no training, he picked up a brush and covered the village's buildings in bright designs. Some students discovered the art. It went viral, stopping the demolition and earning Huang the nickname Rainbow Grandpa. Rainbow Creative Company managed the site. It sent artists to study with Rainbow Grandpa and help him complete his vision. The company claims up to 90% of the murals are the work of its art team. Rainbow Creative became unhappy when the city announced 6 months of work to reinforce the site's buildings, meaning 6 months of lost revenue. Company head Wei Biren says the pieces it destroyed in protest were the work of its artists.
我就跟你们保证，没有一个是爷爷画的。你明着要把我们的版权的东西你要拿走，把我们轰出去。你们好好的对待我们，没功劳也有苦劳。我们把彩虹村弄到这个样子，谁来帮助过我们？
Prosecutors are investigating, and the city says it will sue. But Rainbow Grandpa says it's too late for his vision.
一辈子那个创作我没有，还是怀疑，爱大。
A place that made its name after being spared demolition now once again faces an uncertain future. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
The chief of the Central American Bank for Economic Integration, or CABEI, has received an award in recognition of his work to enhance relations with Taiwan. Dante Mossi is in Taiwan on a 6-day trip, during which he will officially inaugurate the Taipei office of the Multilateral Development Bank. The bank's first Asian bureau opened in Taipei last year, but it had no official ceremony due to pandemic travel restrictions. CABEI was founded in 1960 by 5 Central American countries, including Taiwan allies Guatemala and Honduras. Coming up, we visit a ghoulish exhibition marking the start of Ghost Month in Taiwan.
For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please make sure to download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Taiwan has offered condolences over the passing of former Philippine President Fidel Valdez Ramos. He passed away on Sunday at the age of 94. Ramos led the country from 1992 to 1998. He was known for opening up the country's economy and helping topple the dictatorship of Ferdinand Marcos. Ramos served in both the Korean and Vietnam Wars and held every rank in his country's army. When he was young, he lived in Taiwan when his father served as ambassador. Later, after his presidency, he came back to visit Taiwan to continue exchanges. In a tweet, Taiwan's foreign ministry called Ramos a tremendous friend of the country. Tensions are spiking along the disputed border between Kosovo and Serbia in Eastern Europe due to new regulations for cross-border travel. Kosovo postponed the implementation of the new rules after police had to close 2 crossings when Serbian demonstrators shot at authorities and blocked roads. Protesters are angry about a new rule requiring people entering Kosovo with Serbian IDs to replace them with new entry-exit documents. The NATO-led mission in Kosovo has said it is prepared to intervene if stability is jeopardized. Kosovo declared independence in 2008 after years of ethnic cleansing and repression by Serbia. And Serbia, backed by Russia, still does not recognize the state. A state of emergency has been declared in California as wildfires ravage a national forest in the US state. The fast-moving McKinney fire, which started three days ago, has scorched as much as 160 square kilometers. The fire has burned down at least a dozen residences and forced thousands of people to flee. Wildfires are also tearing through the states of Montana, Idaho and Hawaii. And in southern Europe, a heat wave continues to fuel blazes across the region. Experts blame climate change for the soaring temperatures. Scientists in China have invented a robotic fish they say can help clear water of microplastics. As John Van Trieste reports, the fish's designers hope it can clean the world's oceans and more.
Microplastics have finally met their match in a 1.3 centimeter robo-fish. The fish can move through water in response to light signals, sucking up any microplastic it encounters. Any bigger fish that eat the bot by accident will survive. It's made from polyurethane, which they can safely digest. For now, the bot is limited to shallow water, but its inventors at China's Sichuan University want to develop it further so it can eat microplastic deep in the ocean.
因为这个微塑料它很小，像一般大小于5毫米，我们都把它称之为微塑料。然后微塑料它那些多孔结构啊，又会去吸附一些像重金属啊这种有害的物质，去放大它的毒性，所以最终肯定会流入我们人的体内。像这种，特别是像那种吸附了抗生素啊、重金属的这种微塑料，对我们人体伤害肯定是比普通的塑料更大的，所以这是我们开始研究这个问题的初衷嘛。
But the inventors aren't stopping with the ocean. They envision medical and other applications too.
它这样一种集成功能的一个设计，其实可以用到很多方面，比如说生物医疗啊，或者是危险作业呀。像你这样一个小小的机器人，定向局部安排到你身体的某一个部位，去帮你排除身体的一些疾病啊，或者是什么，这些都是我们想要去可能就是为大家提供的一个思路。
With this small tool, scientists hope to create big changes. Kama Xu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is preparing to welcome tourists back as the country eyes reopening from COVID-induced border restrictions. And the travel industry is already getting ready. A group of Japanese travel agents invited by the Tourism Bureau is visiting some of Taiwan's travel hotspots this week. Before the pandemic in 2019, out of Taiwan's more than 11.8 million inbound tourists, 2.1 million were from Japan, behind only those from China. The delegation is part of the government's drive to boost the economy, but some analysts are sounding a note of caution.
安心安全放在前头，然后再谈台湾准备好了，再谈景点的吸引力。我想这些应该是现在在操作的重点。
The traditional Ghost Month has begun in Taiwan. It's a time when the spirits are said to walk among us. And Tainan Art Museum is giving daring visitors the opportunity to experience the supernatural for themselves. Sandy Chi was there for a closer look.
Have you ever seen a museum full of zombies? Here I am at Tainan Art Museum with zombies, ghosts, all from Asia surrounding me. They're here for the exhibition, but even more, they are a part of it.
This is a special exhibition that gives us a deeper glimpse into the unknown world. On display are traditional artifacts, artworks, and pop culture about the afterlife in different Asian cultures. But what really makes this exhibition unique is that it's staying open until midnight on 3 Saturdays during Ghost Month, attracting some very unusual visitors. People in Taiwan are traditionally very cautious during this month, worried that they will anger the ghosts that are wandering the earth. But these guests are not afraid.
I am very excited because I know the show very special. So I want to know about Asia ghost. So today I come here.
And some even came fully prepared.
我今天扮演的是鬼新娘。其实我觉得就是地方活动，然后就是蛮有特色的，而且刚好有僵尸。
In addition to dressing up, there's another spooky activity underway at the museum. These Asian zombies, they don't walk, they don't fly, they hop. They're actually participating in a hopping competition, just one of the many events for the visitors to enjoy. It's safe to say that this night at the museum is like no other. And these visitors are proof that Taiwanese are slowly starting to learn to love their yearly encounter with the supernatural. Piper Yo, Klein Wang, Yujing Huang, and Sandy Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is home to a special group of artists who are looking to integrate manufacturing, technology and small businesses into their works. Called Luxury Logico, their pieces have been displayed all over the world.
华养机构是来自不同学习领域所组成的一群艺术家，我们试着用合作的一种模式，在创造不同的艺术形式。
比较多宣传的作品上是机械居多，但是我们有蛮多创作，甚至于是非科技的。
像天气好不好，我们都要飞这件作品。这个7个学期，我们就是一个学校一个学校去跑。那37200小朋友跟华养机构化身为一只彩色的鸟。然后飞往大家想飞去的地方。我们也有很强的实务操作的能力，所以我们是一个非常能够说服别人的团队。
华养机构在讨论成立这件事情，大概是在09年的年底前后的那段时间。我跟耿豪是兄弟嘛，所以我们从小到大就是同样的学校，然后一直到大学，在研究所里面，他认识了志坚跟坤毅。
那我们其实一开始在创作的时候都会互相帮助。我跟志坚还有耿豪，我们是同学，所以我们的关系就是玩在一起。
在那个当下有蛮多新媒体的冲击嘛，在国外其实已经在谈论混种这个概念，所以我们觉得说混种这个概念怎么样可以在台湾兴起这样子的一个创作的可能性。
日光浴可以说是一个我们发展的最长的一件作品，它总共发展了8个版本。它从开始是很土法炼钢的，会写程式的，会做音乐的，会电子控制的，我们就用自己的方式把它组成了一颗太阳，在北美馆展出。
那这件作品也会因为我们到了不同的城市，到了香港。到了曼彻斯特，它的工作形态又不一样。
从室内走到户外，它是一个很大的挑战。防水、防震、防温度、防过热、防晒，我们一步一步的去把它跨越的时候呢，每一次跨越，它都带我们到一个更新的地方。
明天花开的声音，它是产官学名，从这后面衍生出来的有教育的意义，它有另外一种经济模式的思考，它会有研发的探索。
这朵花在一个都没有花的一个草地上，旁边都是树，可是一阵风吹来，旁边的树也在摇，这个花布也在动。697个伞布在这边联动的时候，我们都不控制它，它本身已经有一种跟着环境在动作的一个有机感。接着我们再往下去创造声音的音乐呈现跟声音剧场，然后灯光的控制，去谈晚上跟白天跟天光的关系，然后再去做我们最细致处理的那个机械动态跟这个伞布开合的关系。
我最近一直会想到的一句话，其实是杰克梅蒂说的：艺术不是再现一个真实，而是创造一个相同强度的真实。我觉得艺术不能在台湾不能只是一种好像我们自己的小圈圈在玩，如果它可以变成是一个具有经济产值的产业，当我们要做一件作品的时候，它可能需要，比如说科技产业，它可能需要加工产业，它需要一些中小企业的研发，所以当一个好的文化发展或是一个展览项目的发生，可以顾虑到这些事情，我觉得其实是蛮有趣的一件事情。
The England football team has won the Women's European Championship final. The Lionesses beat their German opponents 2-1 in extra time to clinch their first ever major tournament title. 87,000 fans were on hand, a record for any European Championship final, men's or women's.
I think this tournament has done so much for the game, but also for society and women in society in England, but I also think across Europe and across the world, and I hope that will make a change too.
Legendary former basketball player Bill Russell passed away on Sunday at the age of 88. Russell won a record 11 championships in the National Basketball Association during his time with the Boston Celtics in the 1960s and was an Olympic gold medalist. He had 5 Most Valuable Player accolades and was a 12-time All-Star. Considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time, Russell was also the NBA's first black head coach. Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. I'm Yin Khvat. Finally today, we leave you with images of 600 flamingo chicks fitted with identity rings after being guided at the Fuente de Piedra Lagoon Natural Reserve in southern Spain, where is Europe's greatest colony of flamingos. For more stories from Taiwan and around the world, please download the TaiwanPlus app. Stay safe and see you next time.